I'm going to challenge you to let go of the lock-in challenge, the great lock-in challenge that everybody is going viral. Everybody's talking about it. Well, at least they were on September 1st, 2025. But how can we truly lock in 2025 and reach our goals? Are you a mompreneur who wants more out of life? You have goals and you're sick of sitting on the sidelines? Come on, let's sit down and have a chat. So maybe you're like me. You have some goals, you're scrolling on social media and you see a viral TikTok trend, the great lock-in, and you're saying to yourself, maybe I should do this. Maybe I should go all in and lock in on my goals. I'm going to tell you now, be careful. Be careful with these trends on TikTok, because one thing that I've noticed is that we can't always believe the hype. These trends will make you feel like, you know what, like, yeah, I could do this. And then you get started and then you fall off. And then you're feeling sorry for yourself. And there's no one there to hold you accountable, to tell you like, it's okay, let's get back in the game. So if you're watching this far, that means that you have some goals, you have dreams. There is something that you want, and you see, you know that there's more in store than what your current present situation looks like. So tune in, let's chat about it. And if you're wondering, like, who are you and you're able to share this insight, my name is Miss Joyce Polliard. I am the founder of The Holistic Haven. And also I'm a woman of faith, a girl mom, a mompreneur myself that has multiple income streams that I'm balancing, all while maintaining a peaceful, present, and profitable life. And why does that matter? You don't want to succeed in one area and drop the ball somewhere else. So let's talk today about letting go of the Great Lock-In Challenge and what you should do instead. I'm going to challenge you to let go of the lock-in challenge, the Great Lock-In Challenge that everybody is going viral. Everybody's talking about it. Well, at least they were on September 1st. 2025. But how can we truly lock in 2025 and reach our goals? It's going to take having three areas that you're going to have to focus on in order to get to that next level. So if you're tired of setting goals and not getting far, let's chat. Now you may be wondering, you know, like, how do you think I'm not going to achieve it? Why? Because it's been said that a lot of times there are higher rates of depression towards the end of the year. Some people check out come November. After Halloween, forget it. After Halloween, everybody's kind of like on
chill mode, and they're like, okay, well, I'll just wait till January. But then when January, you lose that momentum. January comes around, now it's going to take you till March. Then March comes around, then it's going to be spring break. Then you're going to feel sorry. So the key to truly
locking into your next level is focusing on you and asking yourself questions in these three areas. Number one is clarity. Number two is confidence. And number three is consistency. These are the three areas that you're going to have to focus on in order to be successful, in order to truly lock in order to get to that next level. So when it comes to clarity, confidence, and consistency, instead of looking at the Great Lock-In, I challenge you to lock in to your next level. What does your next level look like? I remember a time going through a divorce, going through foreclosures, always like these major life events, and asking myself, like, what does life look on the other side? Because I can't stay here. So I had to take the time to ask myself, what does Joyce in the future do? Right? Who does she spend her time with? What is she wearing? What is she driving? What does she spend her time doing? Like, what are the things that she enjoys? So I knew that I had to change my mindset first and see the vision and see myself at the finish line in order to make it through. So number one, when it comes to clarity, like, what do you want? What do you want? Ask yourself, what do you want? Why do you want it? And how are you going to feel when you get there? And once, like, celebrate that, right? Just having a vision is something worth celebrating, because can you imagine going on a trip and there being flight delays, layovers, and you're just like, oh my gosh, I just can't wait to make it to Aruba. Oh my gosh, I just can't wait to make it to Dubai. Oh my gosh, I just can't wait to make it to Costa Rica. Like, you're holding on to that vision. And I challenge all my clients, I challenge all my friends, challenge all my family, like, hold on to that vision, because the same way that we can get excited about a vacation, we should get excited about our vision. And that's clock it, clock that. The same way you get excited for a vacation should be the same way that you get excited for your vision, because your vision lasts longer than any vacation that you can think of. So most people don't succeed when it comes to achieving their goals and truly locking in because they really don't have a goal. They have an idea, they have a wish. But when you lock in and you know that you have a goal, let's say you want to lose a certain amount of pounds, or you want to start a business, and there are steps that you have to take in order to get there, that's truly a goal. But just saying, I want to, start going to the gym, that's not a goal. Like, yeah, it's part of a goal, but why? Like, there has to be parts in order to make it a total. All right. So go deeper than just picking a goal. You want to know what that goal means to you. How are you going to feel when you get there? And what is it going to take? What are the necessary steps? And ask yourself, the biggest question is, ask yourself, are you willing to do the work? Oftentimes we pick these goals and it sounds so cute, it sounds so nice, but are we willing to do the work? And oftentimes when we write down every single step that it's going to take in order to get there, then we have to ask ourselves, are we willing to do the work? I remember having like these breakouts on my skin, and I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to do research. So I went online, looked at a few videos, went to Ulta. Ulta was closed after I dropped the girls off to school. So I ended up at Elegant Beauty, and I literally was like, okay, let me go through, look at the different products that I can use. And I came across Dr. Palmer's, Skin Success Solution System, and it came with the facial wash, it came with the astringent, it came with the lotion, it came with the little spot cream. And I was like, I'm not doing all that. But then I had to stop and ask myself, if I want to show up as the best version of myself, if I know I want to be out there on YouTube, making videos, going to speaking engagements, and I know that these things might bother me, why would I not do the work? If I want clear skin, there are steps to this clear skin process, and that's with anything that we want in life. We have to be willing to do the work, and having all the steps written down, like sometimes you might just say that this is a good idea, but not a now idea. Because just because it's a good idea doesn't mean you have to do it now. Okay, don't put no pressure on yourself. Don't set yourself up, because we do have a capacity and we have a capability. Just because we're capable of doing something doesn't mean we have the capacity, given our workload, given our home life. Like, I'm not like there, you have to have a certain balance when it comes to wanting to achieve your goals. There has to be a balance between being delusional about what's possible, because that's where faith lies, and that God is greater and he is bigger and he can give us more than we ask or imagine. And then asking myself, do I have the capacity to do this, right? So you want to be realistic, but you also want to be delusional. So you have to have a good balance of both. And if that makes sense to you, drop I get it in the comments. All right. Number 2, when it comes, so now that we talked about clarity, having clarity on a goal, what do we want? Why do we want it? What's going to take to get there? Let's talk about confidence. Confidence is something that is so huge, because oftentimes I believe that when we have a gift, something that we're good at, we devalue it, right? And we think that we're not confident enough. We think that we need extra steps. I remember starting this YouTube channel and wanting to, buy all these things. And I started amassing I remember wanting to start a YouTube channel, and I started purchasing all these things and saying that, I needed this and I need that, and ordering stuff off Amazon. And then I was just like, get started. I seen all these videos. I seen all these posts, like, use what you have enough. And I just had to say, I need to show up and start doing the work, build that confidence. So that's a tip within itself. Confidence doesn't come by waiting till you're confident to start something. Confidence comes by starting, not waiting, starting and getting better along the way. So to be honest, some goals could be so scary, like your stomach is in knots. You're feeling like the day before a big test, and it's scary. And oftentimes we don't want to admit it to ourselves that, like, this is scary. I don't know. Like, I'm a little afraid. And sometimes the challenge is that oftentimes fear and excitement feel the same. Anxiety and excitement feel the same. So if we're not able to differentiate that and able to reprogram our mindset to say this is exciting. God has given me a vision. Do you know there are so many people out there that don't have a vision for their life? There are so many people out there that are drifting day by day by day, and they just wish that they wouldn't be bored all the time. They just wish that they had something. But you have a seed. I have these little seeds that I bought off Amazon. The faith of a mustard seed. I bought the mustard seed just so I can see how small of a seed that it takes in order for God to be able to do something beautiful. So when it comes to confidence, I shared that you're going to have to get going and get better along the way. And if you must, borrow confidence. I know that Sarah Jakes, I love the way that she shows up. I love the way that I can see her made up on a Sunday, beat face, outfit looking cute, but then I can see her showing up on Instagram Live, showing up with just her regular clothing, showing up making breakfast. So oftentimes we have to look at people that we look up to and glean from their confidence. I would challenge you to, comment or just write down 3 people that are, that you look up to. Maybe they're your virtual mentor, that you can borrow some of their confidence before yours kicks in all the way. All right. So make sure you're thinking holistically when it comes to your goals. Let's use the gym example again. I'm always saying think holistically. Now for mindset, so here's the thing that a lot of people don't understand. Even though you're trying to achieve a goal like physical, most things start mentally and spiritually before it can manifest into the physical. So let's say your goal is, I'm gonna use the same example, to go to the gym and you want to exercise, and you want to lose weight because you want to be healthier, you want to improve your blood pressure, or you want to lose inches off your stomach, or you want to, look good in a certain dress. You're going to have to think about how that's going to affect you mentally. Mindset wise, maybe you need to say affirmations every single day so that you can affirm yourself before you even get there. Emotionally, maybe you need to be like, okay, it's safe. It's good here. I am going to be okay on my journey. Maybe you take some deep breaths, when you get to the gym and you're overwhelmed with everything that's around. Spiritually, maybe you pray and talk to God and tell him, because he is our present help. I don't mean to make this video, religious by any means necessary, but God is my Father. And if you do not have a relationship with him, get one, because a relationship with Jesus changes everything. So maybe you need to pray and ask God, tell him what you want, tell him the desires of your heart. Because one thing I've learned along the way is that by ourselves, we can't do much. And whenever you have a goal, life is going to get in the way. Things happen. But one thing I know for sure is that God can give us that peace of heart, that peace of mind, that he can have someone to show up to help us because he is our present help. So I would say, whatever your goal is, make sure you're leaning on spiritually. Make sure you're leaning on financially, physically. Look at how all those things are going to affect you. Because yes, you want to lose weight. Yes, you want to go in the gym. But if you're not eating correctly, that is going to impair your ability to see your success. So maybe you have to set aside a certain budget so that you can eat healthier, so you can go grocery shopping. So that's the reason why a lot of people don't achieve their goals, is because they're not thinking holistically. And I want to share a secret strategy. I shared a little bit about it before, is that the same way that we can step into, confidence, borrowing confidence from other people, step into your next level self. Yes, you might have wrote down earlier, I mentioned writing down what I did when I was going through divorce and foreclosure. I had to imagine myself being a homeowner again one day and being able to achieve certain goals. So what I also had to do, secret strategy that I used, that I learned from a coaching session, and that I also learned from watching Queen of the South, is envision your next level self. Envision that next level version of you and tap into her. Because one great thing about the Queen of the South show, until they got into season 2 and 3, it was a little bit extra. But when it came to Queen of the South, I love the way that in her times of when she wanted to give up, her future self showed up with the all-white suit, boss. Are you just gonna lay there? I need to watch the show again because I forgot her name. But she was like, are you just gonna sit there? Get up, go in the bag. There's a gun in there. Take it out. Get the man. Let's go. And I just was like, oh my gosh. So I borrowed that, and I would envision myself in a nice royal blue or white pantsuit with my hair all back in a ponytail, slick, edges laid, boss, with some clear or nude pumps, boss. And every time I feel like giving up, every time I want to let life take over, I got to take a look at JoJo. I think I called her. I even gave her a nickname. It was JoJo. So now that we talked about how you're going to get confidence, you're going to speak life into yourself, you're going to get you mentors, even if they're virtual, you've never met them before, you're going to tap into your future self. The next thing that we want to talk about is showing up consistently, because consistency is key. It's not what you do occasionally that's going to help you to win. It's what you do on a regular basis. I know a lot of times we start off strong, we're going to be consistent, we do it for a few days and then we forget. So the goal is to figure out what works best for you. I say that you should do the twofold approach. I have these post-it notes. See these little, like, well, it's like a post-it note, but it's bigger and it has lines on there. And basically I write down my notes, my goals on post-it notes, and I put them in different places. Maybe I put it on the fridge. Maybe I put it on the bathroom mirror. I put it on the mirror in my room. I put it in my car. When I have a certain goal, certain thing that I want to achieve, life is noisy. There are so many distractions, and oftentimes it's easy to fall off. So I want to become obsessed, okay? I told you, you gotta have a fine line earlier between being delusional and being realistic, but obsession takes things to a whole nother level. And when you see things around you, it's going to be a great reminder throughout the day. And also setting reminders on your phone. I remember a time where I was dealing with imposter syndrome, and I would set a reminder every single day to watch this certain TD Jakes video. And I watched that video every single day for over a month until I had to snap out of whatever was going on. All right. So consistency, you're going to have like the vision boards. You're going to have like to write out the script. And I challenge you to write out, if you're following the Great Lock-In, or if you just want to say 3 months from now, 6 months from now, what are you doing? What does a better life look like for you and your family? I challenge you to write it down, but act like you're writing a story. Just say, I wake up and I do this. This is how my family feels. This is what we spend our time doing. These are the things that I've accomplished, and write down all the goals that you have and write it like it's a story, but write it in the present tense. And I challenge you to put that in a notebook, put it in an envelope, and save it for later, and put a date on there, because I've actually done this several times. And the beautiful thing about it is that when I go back, and review, like I accomplished, or I'm living the life that I prayed for. And that's the beauty of writing things down. I know a lot of y'all gonna come for me and say, oh, I don't like to write stuff down. But the beauty of it is that when we are down and we can look at the stuff that we've written down, we can say, if God did it before, if I was able to accomplish this, what else? Like, what's next? Let's go. So I remember being pregnant, and then you have to, like, that's why I say it's good to have a date, that like a due date. Because I remember being pregnant and people saying, like, you know, with my second daughter, shout out to Miss Juju, and people were like, oh my gosh, like, are you ready? You know, your stomach's so big. Are you ready? And I was like, ready or not? The due date is almost near. And these doctor's appointments, like, coming closer. I'm going every week. And that's just to say that you can only be pregnant with so long. You can only be pregnant with purpose for so long. You're going to have to eventually set a due date and deliver. And you're going to have to push, even though it might be painful, but there's beauty on the other side of the push, right? So make sure that you have, when it comes to consistency, that you have a routine, that you're able to fit in some of your goals into the routine. I'm going to make a separate video, but when it comes to having routine, you have to focus on your mission, your vision, your priorities. Be an MVP. If you focus on these 3 things, you're not going to have that guilt. You're not going to have FOMO. You're not going to feel like you don't have work-life balance, because you're figuring out a way in order to incorporate all the things that are important at the present moment. And you're going to make it to the finish line. If you have a clear goal, if you have a set system, and you have a routine, no matter what life may throw your way, you'll be able to bounce back. You'll be able to pivot, because it becomes like second nature. There are certain things I do when I get home that I'm like, okay, I put the girls' things away. I, put my daughter's backpack in the kitchen. I have everything has a home, and I'll, like start cooking dinner, and I'll do certain things, get the clothes ready for their bath, and then I'll turn around. I'm like, oh, let me go get their clothes ready for a bath. And I go and look on the bed and it's already there, because it's second nature, because I have that routine of what I do every single day during our family time, during that evening routine, so that I could get mommy time after they go to sleep. Okay. So we're going to have to make it to the finish line, and that's going to take being consistent every single day. Even if you fall off, getting back on track, having that accountability with yourself to see yourself to the finish line. So there you have it. To truly lock in to your next level, you're going to have clarity, you're going to have confidence, and you're going to have to show up consistently. So I hope this video was of value, that I've said something that helps you on your journey to your next level. Because to tell you the truth, yeah, this great lock-in challenge it sounds good, but ultimately the last few months of the year are sometimes the hardest for people, because they have depression. The weather is not as sunny outside, it's colder. So I challenge you to lock in with the community as well. Feel free to, if you're someone that's saying, I don't have enough time, I need to kind of get better at my schedule, I challenge you to download the time audit tips. I will post the link in the description, and that gives you a good indicator on what's going on with your life. You audit yourself, I would say between 5 to 7 days, write down the things that you're doing, and then you're able to go back and say, okay, what do I need to stop doing? What areas of time where I'm like, what did I do with this time? And then you're able to figure out what you can realistically commit to for your next level. So I hope this video was helpful. Drop helpful in the comments. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and share with a friend. And until next time, ta-ta. Think holistically. Better life.